What's going on, guys? I know I'm late. I meant to cover this already, right when it was coming out. Obviously, a few things were popping up. Ava nuked their, Twitter. A lot of things happened between the time I was going to cover it and now. I was going to do it actually when I got home this morning, and I couldn't. I just passed out. Literally went to, eat, and cut my TV on, took a few bites, sat it down, and then I don't remember. I literally just fell asleep and woke up in the middle of the day. I set an alarm to wake up a little early so I could record this before I go to work, and hopefully I'll have it edited in time. If not, I'll have to edit it when I get home. But basically, I'm kind of like sitting in shock and awe anyway, mainly because I don't understand why so many, or I say so many, it's become a bit of an issue now. Streamers, YouTube, content creators, even TikTok, it seems to have people that don't understand, or have the concept to understand that you shouldn't have super inappropriate conversations with minors, especially children. Now, when I say children, yes, I mean under the age of like 15, 14. I'm not saying above that's okay either, but like the difference is just night and day. You should, as an adult, understand and have the, take the responsibility and the control of a conversation to where it doesn't lead down any type of edgy jokes. Once you turn 18, responsibility kicks in, and it is your responsibility to make sure those conversations never steer that way. Here's one excuse I heard. Well, it was a group chat and not everybody was underage. Doesn't matter. Acknowledge the fact that there was people that was underage. There you go. End of story. No more conversation. And also, while you're watching this, I'll have like Penguin and Mudahar's channels tagged below if you want to go watch a more in-depth breakdown. They also have other things to cover that I'm not going to cover. I didn't get to cover this quick enough, so I'm going to go ahead and try to keep this as short and sweet as possible so I can just go ahead and get the information itself out there. But basically, what's going on is Ava has had very offensive, not sexually charged, it doesn't seem like, but very sexual conversations with people. And what I mean is, like, they weren't, like, advancing on anybody. They were just saying really stupid shit. But these are kids, nonetheless. You still have to watch what you say. And to top it off, the biggest issue, is a guy named Shadman. Now, if you don't know who that is, he was a very prominent, like, CP artist. And I say that to morally, it's a moral problem, because I don't think legally there's a big issue. I don't know the full legalities, but I know there's a lot of people that definitely try to hound me on a video I did previously talking about CP. And I said, cartoon CP, whether they're cartoon characters or not, morally is still a problem. Now, legally, yeah, probably not. I still stand on that hill. I'll die on that hill. I think it's morally disgusting, and you should be, you should be ashamed. But Shadman was next level. He was like, the biggest villain, basically. So, if you don't know who he is, and you're probably living under a rock, but Keemstar was in a bit of a pickle with Shadman at one point. So, a lot of people, me included, don't really care for Keemstar. Now, by all means, he makes his money, he does his thing. He doesn't bother me directly, and there's not much for me to go on. But, unfortunately, there was a innocent bystander in this whole thing. Everybody was very proud and happy that Shadman did a picture, a drawing of Keemstar's daughter, who was like 8 years old, and it was sexually charged, and I think it involved like soon-to-be President Trump, or he may have been president at the time, I can't remember. It's been a little while, and the problem with it is, everybody was like, oh yeah, you give it to him. He deserves every bit of it. He deserves all that. Well, yeah, he probably deserves some scrutiny. He probably deserves, a little backlash here and there for some mistakes he's made, but his daughter is an innocent bystander, and you're all sick individuals if you think that her being drawn that way is getting back at him. You're idiots. You literally don't understand the difference in this person and that person. She is not responsible or have anything to do with her dad as far as his actions. And the reason why I bring up Shadman is apparently Ava has had a run-in with them and helped financially back them by either paying or getting a hold of some form of art from Shadman himself. So it was on their wall in a older video, an archive video, I think. Like I said, if you have any issues with this, definitely I'll have them tagged below if you want to look at Mudahar or Charlie's videos. They touch more base on it. But basically, it seems like they had financially backed a person who is drawing CP, which is disgusting, and it just makes no sense to support somebody like that. So already drawing them in a very bad light. And then to top it off, all these inappropriate conversations with teenagers in, these private chats too. There was a whole thing about, Snapchat recordings that was being looked through, showing how offensive this person was. And not to mention they nuked their entire Twitter, so we can't even look at that. Unless you do a Wayback Machine, I'm sure. But the only screenshots I have, which I'm going to show you here in a minute, is going to be the tweets of a quote-unquote apology. A very bad apology at that. Now, you have to excuse me. I definitely have terrible, reading skills. But I'm going to read it to you anyway, and I'll have it pulled up. I would like to apologize for any of my past behavior or comments if it hurt or offended anyone. It was not my intent. Seeing recent events, we've mutually decided it's best I permanently step away from all things Mr. Beast and social media to focus on my family and mental health. To lump these two factors together to create a narrative that my behavior extended beyond bad, edgy jokes is disgusting and did not happen. In past years, I have learned that my old humor is not acceptable. I cannot change who I was, but I can continue to work on myself. I don't want these accusations to impact the hundreds of people that work for Mr. Beast, which is why I stepped away. Whether that's the best thing to do or not, still doesn't answer the fact that you did support somebody who, draws CP, basically. There's no way to correct that. That's not an apology thing. You're pretty much boned, in my opinion, on that. But, also, these are all allegations, by the way, just to clarify. Having said that, I humbly apologize to anyone I have hurt with my unacceptable social media posts, past actions, those that may feel betrayed by how I used to act online. I want to add, I never groomed anyone. The person who gets brought up in these accusations, Lava, has vocally supported that they are false. Now, by all means, it's a good thing. This is like best case scenario that if you were put in a bad situation as a child or whatever, and it's, you don't have the victim mentality of it or any negative repercussions out of it, that's best case scenario. I'll use Tana for instance. So basically, the allegation, Cody Co, he was 25, she was 17. Essentially, it was a it was a crime, but she doesn't feel victimized for it. So that's a best case scenario. You can be a victim of crime and not feel victimized, and it doesn't really have long-term effects. That's your best case scenario, which looks like happened with Lava. And just because he doesn't have any long-term effects doesn't mean it wasn't at least morally, objectively bad. And that's the problem. The fact that you did it, and there was no repercussions for the longest. And now, a lot of things are kind of being swept on the rug for a while. Well, now it's pretty much been all outed and out in the open. And another thing I would say, definitely take a lot of this with a grain of salt, please. Obviously, Ava has addressed it, and which, in my opinion, shows that these are true. I'll say that. In my opinion, I think this is all real. It's all factual. It's true. Ava did this. To me, they're a terrible person. No different than Dr. Disrespect is a terrible person to me. I will put them in the same category. They both admit that they had inappropriate conversations with minors, and did they go anywhere with it? No, thank God. That's the best thing to look at. It's a good thing they didn't, because now we don't have any long-term effects and real victims. So while there's still victims in this, it's like the best case scenario in this situation. I know that sounds really bad, but think about it. They had their conversations, but it didn't transpire into anything physical or an actual crime. But that's about everything summed up. So yeah, that's all I got to say. Y'all have a good one.